Okay, we're starting off today, August 14th, 2013. This is a recap interview with Todd Stachowski here that just about 2 hours ago now completed the first ever History of Heavy Metal at the Essex Senior Center. And the most surprising thing to me was the fact that we actually had 10 people show up for this.
Yeah.
And by the end of the class, still had 6 people in the room. Mm-hmm. Incredibly surprising. That just shows you times are changing.
Yeah.
But Todd, how many people did you honestly believe were going to come to this
Zero.
class? Zero?
I'm going to make bags of people's heads and put them on the chairs and just teach a class to no one. And so I have the day off. I'm not going to waste it. But luckily, that didn't happen. People actually signed up, which is unbelievable.
Okay. Another question for you. Did any of your class members, did they surprise you in any way?
Yeah, Larry. Larry was very into it. He kept bringing people in, getting more people to come into the class and sign up, and he wrangled up about probably at least 3 more people that weren't signed up.
Nice. That's good.
And Pat, her name was her name Pat? I think it was.
Yes, Pat.
Yeah, the one lady that was asking questions. Mm-hmm. She was really involved with the class, asking a lot, was very interested. So Larry and her were very surprising that they were paying attention and learned something.
Yeah. What was your take on the woman Barb? The one that was a little out there in the behavior, the one to the left? Or not Barb, Betty.
Oh, Betty.
Yeah, the one who was to the left, a little oddballish. I noticed that when filming.
The one that was left.
She was on the left side, long hair, kind of quirky in personality.
I can't remember. I have to look at my seating arrangement.
Yeah.
Pause that for a minute. Let me get my seating arrangement. There were the 2 that were talking.
Okay, and then there was Betty. She left. She was in the walker. So it was Pat, the girl Pat. What did you think about her?
Oh, I think she may have been like a little slightly, not full scale, but like a little, mentally retarded, I thought, a little bit. I don't know. I mean, she just seemed like...
You're a little more blunt than I am. I was straightforward.
I mean, she was nice. I liked her, and she seemed like she had a good time. That's really all I care about. As long as she enjoyed herself, I'm happy.
Yeah. So, are you satisfied with how the class turned out?
Yes, big time. Yeah, I'm very happy. I couldn't be happier. Like, people showed up and they stayed the whole class. I like when people leave because it's genuine. This is not for them. Like that one lady that left, I think her name was Teresa. The one lady, at the end of the class, just you see her clearly, just like I asked her and she's like, I don't like this kind of music.
Well, I showed you on the recap, her facial expression, she was smiling. When she faced you, she turned around and she had that sour look. Mm-hmm. Like, what did she get herself into? And then she turned around and went right back to smiling. To me, that's just priceless.
Yeah.
It was definitely a fun experience. So what do you want to do for your next class?
I want to do the interpretation of Steely Dan lyrics class. Now, hopefully I can get that class because I had 10 people sign up. That was the requirement. So I met the requirement. There shouldn't be a reason why they won't let me teach it. It's even more of an obscure subject because it's isolating a single band that they probably have no real interest in. But I didn't think they'd have an interest in heavy metal.
That's true.
But they did.
That's true.
Maybe they're just open-minded people, and that's the best kind of people to have.
Yeah, Donna really surprised me when she knew Pitbull.
Yeah.
And then she said, well, I'm not as old. I don't
that was a different lady. That was the Red Hat Club or whatever it was.
Oh, that was her with Pitbull?
Yeah, with the Red Hat Club. Because she came in before we started teaching.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then she left and just had whatever their breach game or whatever they were doing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but anyway, hopefully I can teach another one, and I will. Not until November.
So honestly, what drove you to come up with this crazy idea that I thought was a shot in the dark that I never
smoking weed
did?
Can I actually do this? I'll be persistent and wear them out till they're like, just go ahead. I don't want to deal with you anymore. Stop calling me. And that's what happened.
That's what it turned out.
Drove them to like, okay, just let him do it and he'll stop bothering us.
Now, on a slightly different note, I kind of know a little bit of the ins and outs about your dad's disapproval when you first told him you were trying to do this. And he told you, what was that quote he said about him trying to do a class there?
He wanted to teach a class on Bible, and they just probably could tell. Whatever, they didn't want to upset the members of the senior center. Because my dad would be telling them, you're all going to hell if you don't accept Jesus in your heart, and you're going to rot in hell for all eternity. And that's basically
yeah, but what did he say about your idea in comparison to that?
He said, there's no way they're going to let you teach this class. They won't let me, they're never going to let you. Pretty much. And he said that, I don't know what makes you think that they're going to let you do this. But they did.
I'm going to change topics a little bit since I got you here.
Okay. Since you got me here in my own house.
Well, no, I got you here on film.
Right.
A little bit reserved, back, just chilling. Yeah, throw your legs up, enjoy yourself. But what actually inspired you to get into music? What was your inspiration to actually get into it?
To get chicks. That's it.
That was it?
Just pretty much. I mean, I didn't really think much more beyond it than that. And I love heavy metal, and that's what I like, and that's what I'm going to play until I die, as far as being in the band.
Yeah, that's definitely good to hear. About...
It's just a text.
Okay. Another one.
Well, whatever.
Well, outside of it, since we are filming the documentary for this and everything, tell me a little bit more about your job, City Homes.
It's just I'm a maintenance man, and it's dealing with the worst, lowest, poorest parts of Baltimore City. That virtually every time you go to someone's house to work, they're home because they don't work, and they want just handouts. That's what they're used to getting. It's what the way they raise their kids, and it's going to continue. It's a vicious cycle, and it sucks. But whatever, it provides me with work, so I'm not going to complain about too much.
All right, and with you, how many years have you been working for them now?
6 years.
6 years. And over the 6 years, from working in this environment, how did that change your ideals of the people you were around in that level of poverty?
Actually, I don't know. I don't think it's changed my ideals. I think it's just kind of proven the point that people that don't work will never accomplish anything. If you don't have a strong work ethic, you're just going to be like a lot of the people are just dependent. If they weren't getting handouts, they wouldn't know how to survive. It's that simple. I mean, they don't have to work because there's systems in place that just provide for them. And they're going to abuse it every possible way they can. They're going to get food stamps, they're going to get welfare, they're going to get Section 8, they're going to get everything they can for free and try to keep getting it. That way, that just provides them with having a pretty simple life. They're filthy, they don't clean, most of them never clean. And, it's not going to make them want to clean if they don't, I don't know. They destroy the properties, a lot of them. Not all, but a large part do. And they're living in bad neighborhoods, but they have no incentive to get out because it's free there, and they're kind of stuck once they're on Section 8. Unless they want to provide for themselves and make something better for themselves, no one's going to give them anything else. They're going to keep getting what they're getting, and whether they like it or not, it's free. And
so
virtually very inexpensive. Really inexpensive.
So, in essence, you would agree that even though Section 8 was originally set up for widowed mothers with children, originally that is what it was set up for. I actually researched it to figure out what it was and everything else.
Well, let's try that now.
So you'd agree that the system is flawed in that aspect,
big
and that's
time.
why a lot of people are kind of stuck.
God, big
because
time.
if you start working,
They're stuck because they
cut your
want to be
rent.
stuck. They're stuck because they don't want to work to do anything better for themselves. They're not stuck. They're just lazy.
Well, I've researched it, and honestly, there's actually a couple of officials that even said that Section 8 is kind of flawed.
Yeah,
Because
it's flawed.
to continue to get it, you cannot work more than 26 hours a week.
Well, that's them even trying to.
It's 26 hours a week or 60 hours a month.
You can always work under the table. You can always
Right.
pay for. You can always. I've done it. So
Yeah,
I know.
I agree with that, but what
If
I'm
you want to
saying
work
is,
hard, you can get money. You can get a
Right.
decent amount of money, and they can get enough to get themselves out of the situation. But they're not going to, and they haven't.
yeah,
I don't know anybody that's on it that's like, okay, I had enough of this, and I want to do something better for me and my children.
yeah.
I mean, children are virtually neglected half the time. I mean, not half the time, I shouldn't say that, but a lot of times. They're just, oh, there's a maintenance man, good, he can babysit the kids while I go out and go get my dope or whatever the hell they gotta get. Go to the store, do what they want to do.
All right. On a slightly different note, still keeping it on your career. How long have you known Juan? And he's been
For 18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
When did you two get the crazy idea to form Spider Cat?
When I was doing a gutter on his house, and I said, Juan's like, how much do I owe you for putting these gutters up? And I said, you don't owe me nothing if you go in business with me in real estate, and he did. And he wanted to. It was like an idea he had, and I was like, great. As long as you want to do that, we'll plan for this. It took us years to figure it out, but I never charged him for the work I did. I said, as long as you're willing to, when we find the right way of doing this, and you're going to do it, and he did, and we have been doing it.
Cool. And you have a few properties with that, and so it basically keeps itself afloat.
Yeah, it pays for itself, and then some. In the long run, it'll do really work.
You having any problems currently with that?
Just one eviction right now.
One eviction?
Yeah, but that's pretty standard. I mean, you got to go through it till you get a decent tenant, and that takes a while. I mean, everybody seems good until you get them in there, and then you find out the truth about it.
Yeah.
So you're always going to deal with that. That's just the way around it. Right? You can't really, you can't tell what's in somebody's motives until they get in there, and then you see the truth. Like their phone works great. They answer the phone when they're trying to get in there. Once they get in there, they owe you rent. All of a sudden, their phone breaks. Happens all the time.
But besides that, you also got another big project going on right now. You want to tell me about that?
Not going on yet. We've got confirmed financing to rebuild or buy a shell house, rebuild it, and then flip it. Which is, we're just got confirmation from the money guy who's going to provide the capital. So he's going to buy it and pay for the building costs while I'm in charge of building and Juan's in charge of bookkeeping. And that's the way I want to keep it, just us three. That way it's, it's fair, and we don't have anybody in there that's being greedy and trying to just look out for themselves, because if it's all your friends, they're, we all care about each other. We're not going to rip each other off.
So, I know I'm prying, this is a little personal, but it kind of is an issue eventually we're going to have to get to. If you don't want to talk about it today,
That's fine. Go ahead, Paul.
What drove you to actually start to get out of your depression with Alice? If you don't want to talk about it.
No. What got me out of it? Well, I was taking antidepressants, and really, they helped. They did. I would highly recommend anybody that's dealing with a suicide or something like that, or a death of even a family member, even from natural causes. If you start getting depressed, get one antidepressants as soon as you can, or as soon as you start noticing, or you won't notice it though, so just get on it. But what got me out of it, I think, was time. Time heals all wounds. It's just, you got to get through it in time. And you're not going to get through it until a certain amount of time passes, and each person is different. Luckily, mine wasn't that long. It was only a year and a half of severe depression. But I did, just one day, like, I'm going to start doing shit again. And I did.
That's good. That's good. I think I picked your brain enough for one day.
Okay, that's cool, man. Yeah, I like the interview. That's good.
All right.
Cool. Thanks.
Here we are again. Let the grinding wheel It's June 28th, 2015. This is a follow-up since our last interview on August 14th, not August 13th.
Okay.
And today, basically, after where our last interview ended off, almost 2 years ago now,
From heavy metal history.
yes, from the heavy metal history class, why don't you tell me what was going on at that point?
Well, I was very happy. It seems like things were going well. I had rental properties that were a pain in the ass, but able to maintain them. And then what happened with that was we eventually lost them. We had like 3 rental properties, and then the guy that we were like subleasing them from, he wanted us to purchase them. So we got approval, but we had to send appraisers there. The appraisers went there and they said, okay, the properties are worth this. And it was like each one was worth like between $10,000 to $20,000 less than what we were mortgaged for. And we're like, we're not going to just give you like $50,000 to $60,000 out of pocket when these properties are not worth that. Mm-hmm. And the guy said, well, that's what you're signed up for. So I can't either say it's his fault or our fault, but we decided we're not paying $50,000 out of pocket to keep this headache, which is what renting properties are. Because you got evictions, you got people destroying apartments, you got people causing complete chaos all the time, and it just wasn't worth it. It's just too much headache, it's too much work for very little payoff. So there's a better way to go about it. That was the way we approached it. We stopped, and I'm actually happier that we don't have them. The only thing I'm not happy about is that Juan and I are now no longer friends.
Really?
And I don't really understand it completely. I'm still friends with Juan, and I still consider him a dear friend, but I've called Juan after all this ended with the properties, with the band fiasco, the last show we played, because he was the drummer. It was just so much just horrible things that happened. And I think Juan just said, you know what, Todd is just it's either his depression again, it's either this whole situation with the rental properties. It was a way for him to escape, really. Okay, the band, we can't play anymore. Teresa quit, Juan quit. Robbie, we had new keyboards, he stayed. I'm still friends with Robbie. Still friends with anybody else that's pretty much I've ever been friends with. And they're still my friends.
Yeah, in fact, you started a new band with Robbie, didn't you?
Yeah, Robbie and I did start a new band called, and John and I actually played together. Another drummer from the Rock Stars, John, who's played many shows with us. John and I started a new band, and then I was like, let me see if Robbie will do it, because I always wanted a keyboardist that plays like spaceship sound, and Robbie does that. Robbie's really good at it. Robbie's a trained musician, like went to school, knows music theory, really professional, can read music, like can write tablature, like he'll take, when he was in the Rock Stars, he actually wrote, this is F sharp, this is E minor, this is D, this is A, this is, and showed me, and I'm like, I had never seen that before, because I can't read music, but Robbie, you know, because he has perfect pitch or whatever, he can hear the notes, write them down, translate them, even in down tuning, which we always down tune. I mean, Robbie is truly a real musician.
Yeah, and thus Glass Bath was born.
Yeah, so my new band now is called Glass Bath, but that's used for YouTube videos for background music.
Instrumental, yeah.
Instrumental background music, right? Because with YouTube, as you know, you have to create all original material, or they start giving you problems. You cannot just say, oh, I want to use a Dolly Parton song. Oh, I want to use a Led Zeppelin song. Oh, I want to use a Lou Reed song. As you know,
oh yeah,
because me and you do YouTube together, you know we've had our hassles that YouTube will give you, and there's no way to fight it.
There is no way to fight it. 60 characters.
You're fighting Google.
And the one time we called up, I got some chick ignorant and hacking up a lung, and she hung up with me.
That was because of our Bud Dwyer. It was the Harlem Shake Blood Dwyer remix, right? which was our first video ever that we ever did for YouTube, which was great. People loved it. We got views out of nowhere because we're a brand new channel, first video. We were getting views on that like crazy. Like,
we had 500 views with
I know we had 200 before they took it down.
No, we had 5. It was 540 something. It was like
okay.
540 something.
Whatever it was, they shut it down, and then we got flagged. Once you get flagged, that means you can't monetize.
Can't monetize, can't have videos 15 minutes or longer.
Right, they stop you from having videos over 15 minutes long. They give you all these penalties, so we had to restart a whole new channel. Anyway, but we're doing good with that. We're playing by the rules. We do come across hiccups here and there that we're unaware of until they tell us, and then there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
But so far we've been playing it safe with them.
Yeah.
So that's going good.
You were bringing up the depression again. What do you think actually, when did you realize you were depressed again?
Okay, I thought I was out of the depression with Alice. I mean, as you know, you come over here a lot, Paul. Where am I always at?
Garage.
Why am I in the garage?
It's just your chill spot ever since I met you.
But why would I chill in the same spot where my fiance, who I loved, hung herself and then I cut her down? And then the cops came. What would make me want to be out there all the time whenever I have a free moment? Any free moment. If I'm not sleeping, where am I at?
You're out in the garage.
Right. And what am I doing basically?
Dude, listening to music, tinkering, doing stuff like that. Just chilling, basically.
Yeah, but most of the time I could be inside of the house where it's air conditioned if it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So why am I out there?
I don't know. Just I see it as it's kind of like an attachment.
I don't know why, but I still feel like I'm indebted to Alice. And even though she left me with this house that's very hard to afford, still managed to afford it. But it is a nice house. I do like it. I mean, Alice saw something in this house that she just instantly, when she saw it, it's like, this is the house we're buying.
Yeah.
It was easier to afford when you had 2 incomes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Alice's income, which was more than mine. But it just made me work like a maniac to not lose it.
Yeah.
Which I've been able to do. So I'm doing all right with it. I know how to pay for it now. And that also depressed me that I'm stuck with this house where I was happy with my old house.
Oh, I know. I've seen some of the footage, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
my old house
the
was great.
smiles you had, I mean, it was just like a different atmosphere. I mean, it was around this time.
Because over there, when I lived in Armistead Gardens, okay, I had asshole neighbors that were loud. That was the main problem. Moved to this house, which is, okay, that house cost $25,000. This house cost $225,000. That's almost 10 times what I paid for that house.
It is 10 times.
I have a 15-year mortgage with like a $300 a month mortgage payment. This house is like a $1,500 a month mortgage payment. So to go from $300 to $1,500 in a jump, because she only lived here for like a year before she hung herself, is to afford that 10-time increase in bills it just don't make you depressed. So
this is gonna be really hard. If you don't want to talk about it, just like last time, you don't have to. Just say
no. That's fine, Paul. I'm trying to be honest here.
Yeah, I know you're trying to be honest.
I'm trying to be revealing, actually.
Yeah, but sometimes there are things you're just not ready to talk about. One thing I've noticed is, it seems like every time things start lining up for you, everything's looking good, you fall into depression. Do you
What do you mean when things are lining up and looking good?
When things are going smooth. Everything's going smooth, everything's like positive, everything's on an upbeat. There's not a lot of stress, everything's moving basically everything's easy. When you start getting happy, this is just what I've observed from knowing you for the years I have now. When you get to a point of happy and contentment, it's like, I don't know if it's a guilt or what it is, if it's you punishing yourself, but it's like you slowly unravel it and you tear it down. It's just something I've noticed, and I was just wondering if you know why.
This is what I always say, because I've dealt with Alice killing herself for so long. Okay, she didn't kill herself with her first husband. She didn't kill herself with any of her ex-boyfriends. She didn't kill herself when she was living at home. She didn't kill herself when she was on her own by herself. She killed herself when she was with me.
Well,
So that means that, in my mind, I had something to do with it.
well, Todd,
Because if it wasn't me, then what was it? And I'm not trying to say it was all me. She did have a sleeping pill addiction. She
Yeah.
did have
but Todd, unlike
drug
all
problems.
these other people, you're the first one that got her to realize, because she bought the house, she bought the Mustang. I've seen
Yeah.
footage, I've seen it all. I've had access to the archives. What I've noticed is you're the first person that made her realize what she's lacking is not a material thing.
Yeah,
It's
she
not
was very
materialistic.
She was very materialistic.
She had at some point developed the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yes.
I want to be to the other side.
Without a doubt.
And then when she got there,
Yep.
she basically, you got her to
I think
realize.
she realized this is as green as the grass can ever get.
Exactly, that
And she
she's the
still
one that
wasn't
has
happy.
to change,
Right.
not the things around her.
Because we were more happy living in a poor environment, which was Armistead Gardens, which I loved living there because it was easy to afford. I had money, I could easily make money. I have a bank account, like easily save money and have plenty of money instead of here where I'm like constantly fighting going in debt.
Yeah.
I've since learned how to do that, but it took me a long time. It took me
Yeah.
since she died till now to manage that.
Right. But like I'm saying, you don't have any blame here. It's just, unlike everybody else, you were the first person because you love her so much. I've seen it. You love her. I've seen it in pictures.
Right.
I've seen it in video.
Right.
You tried your hardest.
And I
to do
still
anything
do love
you
her. I
can do
wish
to
she
help
was still
her.
alive. I don't understand it. It's still a
it's-
confusion to me.
To me, you just need to realize it's not your fault. You did everything you could think of to help her.
Well,
You
the more I
literally
tried to
did.
help her, the more depressed she got, and the more she sought out, because she was a nurse, she sought out other doctors and nurse friends that could
Yeah.
prescribe her the drugs that she wanted.
Yeah.
And then she just started using any drugs. She didn't even care, coke.
Yeah.
She never did heroin, but that was never presented to her. She probably would have.
I mean,
But sleeping pills, cocaine, drinking, number one,
Yeah.
drinking. That was
Oh, yeah.
every day.
I feel that.
Every day.
It's hard finding pictures
Like-
where you guys are social and she's not holding
But she's
alcohol.
like me. I drink every day, but I go
Yeah.
to work every day. And I don't drink until I get
Hey,
home. I don't
you're
drink
a
at work.
functioning alcoholic.
Yeah,
you're
I
paying
am.
your bills.
I am.
You're
I'm not
afloat.
proud of it, but I am. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you may drink more than you need to.
Some
You know
days
what?
I
That's
do,
what you
and
do.
some days it makes me irrational, as you've
Yeah.
dealt with in the past,
Yeah.
as you know.
But like I
And
said,
also
we're
I
not-
added pills to it too, which makes me even worse,
Yeah.
which was the last thing that we had happen.
But talking about Alice, you can't blame yourself. If anything, dude, you just got her to open her eyes and realize she has to face it. And she just
the
decided
material
she wanted
possessions
to run
don't
away
mean
from it.
nothing. Why are you so worried about having a Mustang? Okay, you got everything you ever wanted now. You have a
And that
house.
was the
You have a
problem.
Mustang, your dream car.
Like,
Okay.
unlike her exes, you loved her so much, you didn't care if she wanted it, and you could make it happen, you made it
Yeah,
happen.
and I had nothing to do with her Mustang.
I
was like,
guarantee
I
her
don't need
exes
anything else.
weren't
Alice.
going to go that far because it really takes
I
a
think I was
strong
maybe
level of commitment and love to do that, to jump
too
into
willing
something.
to just give her what she wanted. Basically, it was to shut her up because it never would end. The constant, well, I need this, I need that, and I'm not trying to be mean against Alice. I love Alice, I
I know
still
you
do. But the thing is that she was never satisfied. There was never enough. It was never like, now I finally got what I wanted. I don't need anything else. I
Well,
got it.
that's the thing. Like I said, you brought
Was
up
an
earlier
empty-
that she thought it was your fault. You gave
Yeah.
her the things that no one else did. You gave her everything she wanted, plus you showed her all she was doing was destroying her life.
Yeah.
She realized that she made a very stingy and a very self-centered choice without thinking of the repercussions. I guarantee right now, if the roles were reversed, Alice, and then we went back to the original roles, Alice would have never committed suicide. She wouldn't have. She probably would have committed herself. She
Well,
would have.
I think I could
sought
have handled
help.
it differently, but you can't go back in
Well,
time and
yeah.
change things. because I would have handled it differently.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I mean, you did at the time what you thought was the best. You were trying to make whenever she would be stupidly high or
just
drunk.
thought
You would try to ruin her vibes, basically.
You're going to be happy finally.
You know,
and you're going to stop taking these sleeping pills where you're so incoherent. No one can. You can't even stand up or talk or have a cognitive stream of thought.
My favorite was the one video where she was so out of it. She picks up her cell phone and she's trying to call her car keys to find them.
Right. Yeah.
That's when I realized she was gone.
Right.
But
that was every day. That was every day.
I know.
That was every day.
But what I'm telling you is, this is something that you have to eventually take to heart.
Yeah, I will. The older I get, the more I can deal with it.
First and foremost, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
You may have been a little extremes in certain aspects, but like I said, hindsight is 20/20. Yeah. At that time, you were trying to do everything you could do to help her.
A lot at the end, and the main thing
because she was getting worse at the end.
Is she couldn't be alone, and at the end of our relationship, all I wanted to do was be alone. I was like, I can't.
So
I just would rather be alone than deal with you, and I think that was what pushed her over. But anyway, let's move on, Paul.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep dwelling on that.
All right. So you said you lost the properties.
Lost
and you
Juan.
and Juan
are still on non-speaking terms, and he's still my dear friend Juan. Yeah. I love you. I wish we could talk.
And the band broke up because of Teresa.
Well, and Juan didn't really break it up. It was Teresa.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was annoying. She was the start.
She had no logical reason why, like with Emily, if I can with Emily. Emily's like 18 years old at this point. Okay, where's she going to go? Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. She had her own reasons. I think she was just afraid of that. She saw there's something wrong with me, that I'm getting to extremes with whatever, and I did take that situation to an extreme. So maybe that was the reason. So I do forgive Teresa, and I forgive myself for prejudging it, if that's what it was, because I'm not sure.
All right. Well, we're going to change topics a little bit. It was during this fact that we weren't talking. You were drinking really heavily. Right. You weren't listening to anything I said. I couldn't even get you to eat certain days, certain evenings when I stopped by. So I took a little break because I didn't like seeing you like that. But
not eating for.
During that time, a couple months had gone past, and I happened to come in and check on you because I hadn't heard from you for a couple months.
Okay.
Why don't you tell me about the accident with your face in the guardrail?
Okay. What happened with that was this. I went to Taco Bell to get some food, like I was on my schedule. That was my schedule at that point. I would drink as much as I could drink until I ran out of beer. And I'm like, okay, that's enough amount of beer now. And it was usually about, I'd buy a 30-pack, I'd drink about 15 beers, and then I'd go to Taco Bell. Okay, I went to Taco Bell, and I was so pissed. I was like, wasn't even pissed. It was just like, the properties are gone. There's no really, I had nothing now artistically that meant a lot to me that I had built over a long period of time, so my band was gone. The only thing I cared about was my cats, but even that wasn't even in my mind. It was like, you know what, I'm riding my bicycle, not a motorcycle, but a regular bicycle, and I'm riding back, and I'm going downhill really fast, and I see this guardrail, and I'm like, I'm just going to smash my face in, and I just did, and I remember consciously, because you've seen the guardrail. Yeah. How easy is that to avoid?
It's pretty easy.
There's nothing else there. I mean, to hit it dead center.
Yeah.
I'll show you the X-rays. We can show them on camera. I'll show you the X-rays.
Yeah.
How much damage was caused to my face. But I crushed my entire face in. All my teeth had to be reset. I had traumatic brain injuries. I also, because of that, you're bleeding. So I'm swallowing blood. I wake up, all I know, here's the only thing I remember out of all that, is waking up in the hospital. And I'm laying on a table, and I'm like, nurse, I'm going to throw up. And the nurses are just like, la-di-da-di-da, whatever, you're just somebody else in the emergency room, who gives a shit. I'm like, and I just couldn't help it. Just like, threw up blood, like all over the floor because the blood had been accumulating from all the bleeding in my head. And then they finally paid attention to me. So after that, I'm like, I need pain medicine. I'm in so much pain. And they finally started gradually giving it to me. But I was such a drug addict, they had to keep, they couldn't believe how much they had to give me. Finally, next thing I know, I pass out again. They finally gave me enough to pass me out. So next thing I'm waking up, I'm in a bed, a hospital bed. And then I'm on a PCA pump where you can inject yourself as much as you want. So now I'm in heaven. So I'm watching Planet of the Apes. All I remember is Planet of the Apes was on. It was like a marathon. I don't even remember. I've seen every episode of the old Planet of the Apes probably 15 times, like on a loop. Like all 5 of them, like at least 3 or 4 times each.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of it. I just remember waking up. Oh, Planet of the Apes is on. Cool. I'm just passing out. My family was there. I love my family. Thank God for my family. But to put my family through that again, I mean, that is just not fair. They've already been through so many accidents where I've been to a hospital, where I just wake up in a hospital.
Yeah.
And I'm in an incapacitated condition where I have to stay there for like at least a week, if 2 weeks, before I can even leave, you know.
And you had already had your mouth wired shut for about a month and a half.
Yeah, I had my mouth wired shut. I had to eat through a straw. I had to, and I had x-rays of all that, because then I went to a dentist because I had a tooth problem. And the dentist was like, we need to send you to a specialist. And I'm like, why? And he's like, here's your x-ray. It's just all these, you should see all these wires that are like connected, holding my upper jaw, that are permanent.
Yeah.
So I got all these wires in my head now. So, and that's why my teeth are coming in all crazy, because anyway, I don't know how wisdom teeth come in this late in life, but that's what was happening.
They do.
Anyway, so I'm 45, and like maybe last year I had a wisdom tooth that's when they took the x-ray, and I finally saw the damage. But also I have screws in my face. This is a screw right here.
Yeah, one over there.
There's a screw right here. These are actually metal plates under my face, where my whole face was caved in, and now metal plates that reconstructed my face. My nose is bent. It's not too bad. They did re-straighten it. It's not as bad as I thought. I was looking at it the other day. I thought it was worse, but it's not that bad.
It's not really that bad.
But anyway, yeah.
And then a few months after that, tell me about Gina.
Oh, the black girl I was dating? Well, you met her.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so I went into a relationship like everyone does. And I was working at City Homes, where I work. And I was down on Boyd Street, which is a horrible street. It's in West Baltimore. It's a tiny little alley street. And I go in this house, and then there's a girl in there, and I'm attracted to her. She's about my age, and she looks like Oprah. You know, I like Oprah.
Yeah.
So anyway, she looked like Oprah, but a younger Oprah. I'm like, man, I really like you. And she had like the Aunt Jemima headscarf on, which I like that too. And I was like, man, she's awesome. I like her. And then, so I started talking to her. And she's like, yeah, I'm a stop motion filmmaker. I'm like, no way. I'm like who? She's like, have you ever heard of Jan Schwankmeyer? I'm like, wait a minute, you know who Jan Schwankmeyer is? And I'm like, okay, so I'm in love already. Just because you know who Jan Schwankmeyer is. You look like Oprah. And you have an Aunt Jemima headband on. So these are 3 things that all to me are things I'm very attracted. And she had big tits. So I'm like, oh my God, you're perfect. I love you. And I'm like, well, so I've never seen you here before. This is this guy's, I'm not going to mention his name, like this guy's house. I work in his house all the time. He's really nice. And she's like, oh yeah, he's my friend. I'm like, okay, are you guys dating? She's like, no, we lived in the same apartment anyway. And she lived in England. And that's also cool. It's like, okay, you're not even friends. She's like, but I need to stay in America for like a month because I'm handling my mother's estate because her mother died and all this. So anyway, I'm like, well, instead of staying here in this slum, you can stay at my house. So anyway, she comes over to my house, and then she has her friend come over. And her friend is a white woman who's in the military.
From Japan.
Yeah, she works in Japan, does like, she's very, very smart, very articulate. So I like both of them. I'm like, okay, cool, that's your friend. You guys, I have plenty of rooms. I have a giant house. I'm like, there's plenty of rooms. But they both stayed in the same room. weird. Because I got plenty, as you know, plenty of options where you can sleep, and no one else was staying here at the time.
Yeah.
And you met them both. And so I always thought it was weird, like, why are you both sleeping in the same exact bed? Okay, so her friend's name, I'm just going to call her E, because I know her name. I'm going to call her E. Her friend E was like, well, I had to leave one day. So then I was like, oh, good. So that's when I had my romantic interlude with Gina, and I thought everything was going good, because I really liked her. But then her friend comes back, and then I start seeing problems arise, and then I'm like, well, let me help you with because I do real estate. And I've had problems with real estate, so I can maybe figure out what's going on. You told me your aunt stole all your mother's money, but you're her genetic offspring. You're her daughter. So she is not entitled to, because I went through this with Alice's mom, because Alice's mom got all Alice's assets. Because Alice and I were not married, we were just fiancés. But, so it goes to the next genetic bloodline. So her daughter would get it, not her aunt. Okay, so this was all a bunch of bullshit I figured out later on, as you did too.
I figured it out.
Well, you were going to help a lot, Paul. And you said, look, Gina, just give me the address of the property, and we'll figure out what was taken, what was stolen, and what did she say?
She refused to give me the address. She's talking about something about identity theft and everything else.
Yes.
Like, what's the identity theft? Your mother's deceased. What can I do with a deceased person's information? There's already been a death certificate.
Right.
You know, the death certificate has been issued.
Right.
So it's known. Her credit line stopped when that death certificate was done.
There was no will.
Yeah, there's no will.
So that means everything is inherited either to the husband, who she'd had none, or next in line, which are the children.
Yeah.
Not the aunt.
Exactly. And, you know, we looked into it. She was a... Yeah, we were looking into it because I wanted to find out. When I found out it was a condo, because I asked her to look at the HOA paper agreement.
Right, it was a condo.
And, you know, she wouldn't even... She only gave me like 10 pages of that, and it was missing pages I needed. And I finally pulled you to the side and said, this is BS. This chick is trying to pull the
But here's
wool.
what I remember she saying. I said, okay, we have everything now that we need. All we need is, what is the address? Because that was mysteriously missing from whatever she showed us. What is the actual address? And I went there. I should have just wrote the address down, but I didn't think this was going to come up in the future. I thought because she kept crying about, oh, I need help. Oh, my aunt stole this money. I'm like, okay, just give us the address. We will figure out where the money went. And she said, what did she say? I'm not
giving you the address
because I'm not emotionally ready to deal with it. And what did she have? Like 1 more week left before she had to leave and go back to England.
And I explained to her, you only get 30 days when the deceased person goes through before their assets are just taken by whatever debts.
It was all bullshit. It was all a con. And she kept wanting to use my truck to haul all her mother's hoard. And she kept going there and spending all that time at night. Anyway, this was a horrible relationship that really screwed me up because I really liked her. And I found out she was conning me to stay in my house for free instead of like staying in the ghetto, #1, which was one of the worst, most drug dealing, horrible neighborhoods in Baltimore City on the west side.
And I mean, being from Europe, dude, first of all, her currency's twice as strong as ours. She should have been able to put herself up and like rent a house each month here without a problem. You know, because I mean, a 2-week vacation for her or a month vacation for her would have only been 2 weeks for us.
Also, she said she made her living by singing, like you saw her doing. I went to karaoke with her. She is a good singer. I like that about her too. But it was all BS. You cannot make a living as just singing cover songs like randomly, not having your own group, not just people calling up on the phone. We have a gig tonight, and make a living doing that. So she was either getting Section 8 or some kind of handout on the dole, as they call it in England. Probably something like that, which she said she wasn't. Anyway, I don't know what her whole story was. By that point, once we said, here's the solution, and she said, no, I don't want the answer, I said, okay, you can leave now. Because I'm not dealing with this. This is your line.
And then her friend E got all...
she got all defensive, like...
Yeah, she was getting all defensive when she was trying to come clean to you. You know, and I even tried pulling her to the side for a minute, but she's just more ignoring me and trying to listen to what she's saying, prevent her from saying stuff.
Anyway, they all had every reason
it
not
was
to just give us the address so we could figure out the solution to their problem.
And pretty much, and all I was doing was pulling up the status on the condo and going to see what was on the state public record for it.
Right,
you know, it's not like I was asking for social security birth or date of birth or anything like
address.
that. Just a physical address.
Did she own it? Was she renting it? Whatever. She said she owned it. I think she was renting it. Her mother looked like she was on hard times from what I saw in that apartment and the condition it was in. Anyway,
that's
moving
here in the day.
But that was my last serious relationship with a woman that I really liked.
And then back in January, I got the crazy idea to start up a YouTube channel.
Yeah, so now we have a YouTube channel. We're doing good with that. I know we've had our little battles here and there, Paul. I apologize. Most of it's my fault because I do drink a lot and drugs and all that. You know.
Like I said, at the end of the day, dude, I just don't want to see you do anything that's self-destructive.
I'm trying not to, and YouTube is what I'm very passionate about now.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's looking good. So, I mean, we've talked long enough on it. I mean, we've hit all of our main topics for here.
But this is just a wrap up to after having mental history class because things were going well, and then everything fell apart again. I got depressed. I smashed my face in, and now I'm recovering from that.
Yeah.
So.
And this time, just keep it on the
and now I feel a lot better because I've been through where Alice killed herself. I tried to kill myself. And I lived through it, so it kind of opened my eyes to what life's about. And what life is about is this. Don't waste your life working for someone else. You gotta work, you gotta make money to pay your bills, but make sure if you're passionate about something, live out your passion. And I want to be a filmmaker. I've always wanted to be that. It switched over from being a rock star because that was a passion, but I feel even better about doing YouTube because or if YouTube fades away, whatever. As long as I'm making films where the public can enjoy them, that's what my life will end up meaning when I die. And when I die, I'm going to say, all I did was work and work and work to pay for this house.
No, because you're leaving back a legacy.
Yes, something creative. I mean,
this has been on the internet. It's there forever. Even if, God forbid, we decided we're going to shut down everything, we could never get rid of everything on the internet because it's already been outsourced to multiple sources.
Good.
You know?
Yeah, and we also have the hard copies of everything too, so we could put it somewhere else if YouTube for some reason went under. Well, just like MySpace, it just went away from it. It's still there, but no one uses it. So.
MySpace went away when Facebook came out.
So right now, you and I, we're a team, right, Paul?
Yeah, of course we are.
Me and Paul are a good team. We're trying to make quality videos for this. Is just a little explanation of why this whole thing started with YouTube, and we're having fun doing it. And that's it. Life is about having fun. Don't think it's about anything else, because when you get to the end of your life, try not to have regrets, like I should have did that, should have. Just do it. Just do it. You'll feel so much better about yourself. And I do now. And I'm not depressed anymore because, and thank you, Paul, because Paul is a big help with making me feel like I'm worth something again.
Oh, yeah.